All right, so success, career, business, and fame, recognition, awards, titles, and validation. These are things that people chase. Some people, they live for this stuff: perfection, performance, and image, power, control, authority, and dominance. Some people live for influence, followers, and reputation, like climbing a tree, an endless staircase in search of spotlight that keeps on moving. Some people chase after money, saving, salary, and fast cash. Possessions like houses, cars, clothes, and gadgets. Luxury like comfort, indulgence, and exclusivity. Security, a safety net, retirement, protection from lack. It's going to be a powerful video because we're going to dig into life and we're going to put things in perspective and in order. And then you're going to choose what's the best thing for you. But let's put everything in order, columnize it. So, like filling a bucket with holes, it leaks. Its fulfillment is based on things alone. All right, let's go a little deeper. Some people chase after love and connection, romantic relationships, finding the one, approval from parents, peers, or partners. Right, popularity, whether it be in social media, social status, etc. Belonging, community, tribe, and acceptance. So, like chasing a hug from a shadow, you need inner warmth before the outer connection satisfies. So, then knowledge and understanding. Some people chase after wisdom, truth, insight, and life meaning. I fall into this headline. Education, degrees, learning, and credentials. Certainty, knowing the future and avoiding risk. So, the analogy here is like gathering puzzle pieces without knowing what the full picture is. So the fulfillment and experience of happiness is that they're seeking pleasure, the thrill, and good vibes. Adventure is to travel and experience new experiences. So purpose is destiny and calling, and freedom is time, location, and decisions. Again, these are things that people chase: happiness, adventure, purpose, and freedom. What are other things that people chase? Healing and peace, relief from pain, trauma, and anxiety, right? Closure, past wounds, unresolved issues, balance, work life, emotions, and health, spiritual growth, connection with God, and inner peace. An analogy for this is like looking for a calm lake in the middle of a storm. It requires inner stillness, not just outer change. And I'm a firm believer in this. It's kind of like what we're doing here. We're making sense out of life. So, identity and self worth, very important. One of the most important things that one can pay attention to. So, self image, how one sees themselves, their proving value, especially after rejection or failure. Validation, some people are chasing after being enough, being seen or admired. Some people chase after legacy, being remembered, making a mark. An analogy for all of this is like trying to build a mirror out of broken glass pieces. You need wholeness to reflect who you really are. So let's go now deeper. Okay, so these are the internal drives: control over situations, people, and emotions and outcomes, like trying to script a live play that keeps improving on its own. Okay, we went over people trying to acquire either possessions, gadgets, money, houses, whatever, or relationships. We went over identity, self worth, healing, fulfillment, experiences, knowledge, and understanding. People get up in the morning and they chase after things like this, like love and connection, wealth and material things, achievements and status. But what's underneath all of that? What's driving all of that to even be in the first place? Well, people want to be in control. Some people. So they want to be in control over situations, people, emotions, and outcomes. So then other people do it out of revenge or justice. They want to make things right or even. Or they want to make right wrongs. They want to right the wrongs in the past. So other people chase after these things for peace of mind. So they escape from the chaos, they overthink, fear, or regret, and like trying to quiet a thunderstorm with a whisper. So, in terms of identity, who am I really? Chasing titles, roles, or labels to feel solid? Like wearing many masks, hoping one finally becomes your face. The significance is wanting to matter, to leave a mark, and to not be forgotten. So, like carving your name in sand, hoping it survives the tide. So, emotional fixes, the quick hits of dopamine. So, that's scrolling and binge watching, sugar and shopping, and like feeding emotional junk food to but starving the soul. So, so nostalgia is longing for the good old days or how it used to be, like trying to walk backwards into the future. Sorry for the noise. So escape. Some people do all of this to escape, right? So then they escape responsibilities or they want to escape pain or pressure through drugs, fantasies, or distractions. So like running from shadows, you can't outrun what's inside. Okay, so you got to deal with what's going on the inside. Okay, and that's what we try to do here in life coaching. So, so like repainting a wall without scraping off the mold. Okay, so relational or social pursuits, approval from parents, mentors, or strangers. Some people chase after this, like auditioning for a role in everyone else's play but your own. It's pretty annoying. I apologize for that. So, validation. Some people chase after validation, constantly needing affirmations to believe in yourself, like renting your worth from others instead of owning it. So, a lot of my videos about identity, and that's why. So, chasing what others have, their bodies, marriages, lifestyles. That's why one of the Ten Commandments is do not covet. Like running someone else's race barefoot, right? You have your own shoes to fill. So, existential and spiritual pursuits, like truth. So, philosophical, spiritual, scientific, what's real and what matters. Like peeling back layers of an onion to find a pearl. So, God or enlightenment, a hunger for divine encounter, transcendent meaning, like homesick heart that doesn't know where home is until it meets the Creator. The afterlife of security, obsessing over salvation, heaven, karma, reincarnation, or legacy, like trying to earn your way into eternity with tokens. So, we're looking at the different aspects and perspectives of how people live their life. Some people look at outcomes like this. Okay, they get up in the morning, they chase, and their worldview is these things, and then we're gonna get down to the nitty gritty of it all. But right now, we're just naming different perspectives of different people on Earth, right? Like we don't believe in Christianity and reincarnation and this and that, but we're going over the worldview of what everybody lives for. So they're trying to earn their way into eternity with tokens. So forgiveness of self, right? Letting go of deep shame or guilt, like holding a key to your prison but being afraid to use it. So you might find yourself that I've named some stuff that you fall into that category, but what we're gonna head into now is gonna be why it is you believe what you believe, why it is that you're there, what's underneath that belief system. So let's get into it. So security based pursuits. So routine and predictability. Stability, low risk, and avoids chaos, right? So like building a house on a flat desert and fearing the clouds. So the insurance against pain. So building walls, plans, and buffers. Like bubble wrapping your soul, hoping life won't hurt again. So legacy, immortality projects. So books, brands, children, businesses, and movements. It's like planting a tree you'll never sit under, but needing it to prove you existed. So the illusions that people chase but never catch. Perfection of body, life, or family or plans. Right? It's an illusion. Once I have, I'll finally feel whole. That's an illusion. Once I do this, I'll finally feel whole. Right? It's a story that's being constantly written out. You never quite make it. So someday, peace. I'll rest when I retire, or succeed, or find love. Like chasing a mirage, each step forward, changing the goalpost. Okay? So what people chase often becomes what they judge others by. Whether it's money, status, spirituality, intelligence, or even suffering, people tend to build invisible ladders out of their pursuits. And once on a rung, they look down or up at others depending on how they or their others measure up to their value system. So, for example, the rich may look down on the poor as lazy. The intellectual may look down on the emotional as irrational. The spiritual may judge the world as lost. The hardworking may judge the restful as unmotivated. The minimalist may judge the ambitious as materialistic. The wounded may judge the joyful as shallow. Each thinks that their pursuit gives them moral or existential superiority when really it may just expose what they're most afraid of or lacking in. So this creates a false hierarchy of worth. Instead of seeing people as equal image bearers of God, this mindset creates a scale. I'm more valuable because I chase purpose. I'm more evolved because I seek enlightenment. I'm more godly because I don't care about money. I'm more authentic because I don't fake ambition. But the Bible flips this completely. For all have sinned and fall short of the glory of God. Romans 3:23. What do you ha- what do you have that you did not receive? And if you did receive it, why do you boast as though you did not? 1 Corinthians 4:7. The gospel levels the playing field, and your chase doesn't make you superior. Grace, not hustle, not status, not enlightenment, is the great equalizer. So what we chase often reflects what we idolize or fear. Chase wealth might be afraid of being insignificant or powerless. You chase love, you might fear abandonment or being invisible. Chase purpose, might fear wasting your life or dying without legacy. Chase righteousness, might fear rejection or punishment. So when we judge others by their chase, we often projecting our own emotional economy onto them. So the trap of spiritual or moral superiority, even good pursuits like righteousness, truth, purpose, or service, can be corrupted when they become self justifying. God, I thank you that I am not like other men, the Pharisee said in Luke 18:11. But Jesus praised the humble tax collector who beat his chest and said, have mercy on me, a sinner. So, kingdom wisdom. The real question isn't what you chase, but why are you chasing it? Who are you becoming as you chase it? And how do you treat others who aren't chasing the same thing? Would you like teaching? Absolutely. Okay, 1 second. I'm just reading here. I'm more valuable because I chase success. Others are lazy, unmotivated, or mediocre. So I'm more awakened because I chase peace. Others are shallow, noisy, or distracted. This is just to say that these are mindsets that people have internally that they might not voice out loud, but this is their belief system. That I'm more awakened because I chase peace. I'm more spiritual because I've let go of things. Others are worldly, carnal, or immature. I'm more righteous because I chase God. Others are blind, backslidden, or sinful. It's not what we chase that's dangerous. It's when we use it as a ruler to measure others. So our chase becomes our identity. If I don't chase success, who am I? If I'm not the wise one, the peaceful one, the godly one, what do I have? So we protect our chase by dismissing or diminishing others who aren't in the same pursuit. Like a man on a mountain yelling, this is the only path because it's the only one that he knows. What we want to feel justified. If we sacrifice for something, our time, relationships, our money, when we want it to mean something, we validate it by making it the right thing and discrediting other options, like someone who paid full price trying to prove why the discount version is flawed. So our insecurities need comparison to survive. When we feel insecure, we're tempted to soothe ourselves by mentally ranking others lower. At least I'm not like them. This is the inner voice of the Pharisee spirit. So, dangers of chasing and judging. False identity. You become what you do or you seek, not who God says you are. Pride in disguise. You see your chase as virtue and others' path as weaknesses. Misconnection. You overlook those in your lane, assuming that they're behind or beneath you. This is the spiritual mentality. This is the Pharisee mentality. You confuse your growth path with God's only path and reject people who are on a different assignment, season, or struggle. So Jesus broke this system. Jesus repeatedly honored those others, rejected and confronted those who judged based on appearance, ambition, or godliness. Jesus honored a widow's 2 coins, but the public will, they will honor large offerings. Jesus honored a sinful woman's tears, right? Jesus honored a thief on a cross and children, lepers, and Gentiles, while others value religious appearances, righteous reputations, and social, moral, or cultural elite, right? This helps us to put things in perspective. So the kingdom truth here is we don't get to measure people based on their chase. We're called to see people through the eyes of grace, not comparison. Instead of they're behind me, say they're in a different chapter. Instead of they don't get it, say they may be walking a valley I've never known. Instead of they're not as holy, wise, driven, or free, say let me see them the way Jesus sees me, in process, in love, without performance pressure. So some of the questions that we should ask is, what are you chasing? Do you sometimes feel superior or inferior based on it? Have you dismissed others because they weren't chasing the same thing? And can you honor someone's different pursuit without seeing yours as better? So, how do humans categorize things in terms of importance? Well, some of them they categorize it by culture, others by emotion, others by trauma, others by pride or fear, others by survival mode or comparison. So, what that looks like is that what society praises or glamorizes, wealth, fame, or beauty or power, then they put that in the top of the list of important things. Or say emotion, what feels urgent, pleasurable, or painful. They'll put that on the top of the list of things that they chase. Or say trauma, what we lacked or lost, what we overvalue, or what was once what wounded us. So then we put that in the top of the list of things that we chase. So pride or fear, what protects ego or avoids discomfort. Or survival mode, what ensures security, control, or approval. We put that on the top of the list of things that matter. Or comparison, what others have that we think we need to matter. Right? The dangers of misplaced value. So people often overvalue the temporary, which is money, friends, or feelings, and undervalue the eternal, which is character, soul, and purpose. They elevate comfort and demote conviction. Worship visibility and ignore quiet virtue, like building a skyscraper out of cardboard because it looks tall, but it won't stand when it rains. So, God's value system, heaven's priority scale, Jesus flipped every human value system upside down. So, in other words, human we humans value appearances, power, riches, being first, reputation, comfort, but kingdom values the heart motive, servanthood, generosity, being last versus being first, righteousness, and the calling. So, how to categorize what matters? Tested by eternity. Will this matter in 100 years or 1,000 years? Does it feed your soul, or does it feed your ego? Set your mind on things above, not on earthly things. Colossians 3:2. So weigh it by the fruit. Does it produce peace, love, integrity, and wisdom? Or does it make you more like Christ? Or does it create anxiety, envy, pride, or emptiness? So that's by their fruit you will recognize them. Matthew 7:16. Discern it by sacrifice. What does it cost you? Time, your soul, your joy, your relationships? Are you trading gold for gravel? What good is it for someone to gain the whole world but lose their own soul? Mark 8:36. So check it against the spirit. Is it spirit led or self driven? Does it align with scripture or only with success formulas? Those who live in accordance with the spirit have their minds on set on what the spirit desires. Romans 8:5. So the kingdom value pyramid starts with relationship with God, identity in Christ, love, wisdom, character, purpose, obedience, and truth. So then, relationships, covenantal stewardship of gifts and time, growth, service, and sacrifice, provision and responsibility, influence, leadership, comfort, and lifestyle. But the shallow things that people live for are like image, trends, applause, temporary feelings, possessions, and status. So only one life will soon be passed, and only one that was done for Christ will last. That's C.T. Stud said that. So I don't want to make this video too long, but in this video, I just read, the hierarchy of what people value the most. They put things that they chase up on a pedestal, whether it be comfort, whether it be laziness, whether it be slothfulness, or whether it be ambition, success, whether it be a legacy, whether it be money or status or whatever, influence. I mean, there's so many things that people chase. But in this video, I attempted to kind of take you on a journey as to why people do what they do. It's because maybe they're scared of something else. Maybe they're doing it out of survival mode. Maybe, so the psychology behind it, right? But what you should take from this video is that we all need grace, and nobody's better than anybody. They might be in a different chapter, they might be in a different place, chasing different things. But the same grace that took you from where you were to where you're heading with God in your relationship, if somebody else is not where you're at, you're not to judge them like a Pharisee. You're supposed to, understand that right now, what they are honoring in their mindset is linked to something that happened to them back in the day, in the past. Maybe they're responding to trauma, and so now they're surrounding themselves with security. And there's so many different examples that you can put. Maybe they want money because they grew up poor, and now all of a sudden they say, I never want to be poor ever again, right? And so you can judge them based on that, not knowing their story. You can judge them by their actions of how they just run, chasing these things that we can consider shallow, never understanding the underlying issue. So God says, just like I gave you grace, you give them grace. Don't be like the Pharisee that said to God, God, I know that you hear my prayers because I fast twice a week. But the tax collector, he said, forgive me, Lord, have mercy. I'm a wicked sinner. God heard the tax collector's prayer, but he didn't hear the Pharisee's prayer. So somebody could be chasing the more honorable things in life, but that doesn't make them better than the people that are on the opposite end. It just means that they're more aware, that they got revelation, and they ought to share that revelation with them. And that's what God calls us to do. Freely you receive, now freely give.